Hey YouTubers, got another video review for you. Well, if you do any kind of camping or prepping, or you just want to be prepared if there's a power outage or whatever, you need a portable power station. Got one here that I want to do a review on. We're getting ready to do a camping trip here in the next few weeks, and we just got through setting up our new tent. And you know, we're going to be camping out of the bed of the Jeep Gladiator. You know, we're really excited about that. We've never been camping before, and this is just one of the things I wanted to check off the bucket list. And so anyways, you don't want to go camping and not have any kind of way to, you know, plug in your cell phones. And for me, I get hot when I sleep, so you know, I want to be able to, you know, run a fan or something. Or, you know, let's say you've got a CPAP machine, you want to bring it along with you, you plug in your CPAP machine into this, and you know, I can plug my fans into it. And then I don't know if you can see this or not, but I've got like 3 lights right here. And you know, there's one in the tent, there's one on the 2 on the outside of the tent, and then I've got a fan right here, and I can run all of these at the same time. It doesn't really have a lot of draw on the battery because it's all DC devices. And so I'll explain a little bit more here in just a second, but I just wanted to run down top to bottom on this portable power station. This one here is the ALPHAESS AP1000. This thing is a really nice unit. I gotta say that the fit and finish on this thing is top notch. You got a nice carrying handle. This thing is really robust. It's not flimsy at all. You can't mash it and flex the plastic. This plastic is really strong. It's got like a little piece of rubber here on the bottom so it don't slide when you're carrying it. And then up here on top, you've got a dual wireless charging for your phones. And the way that you turn it on is right here on the front. You double press that button and you can see the blue light comes on. You put your phone there and find that sweet spot, and there it goes. You can see that it starts the wireless charging. And so you've got a place for 2 of those. And then if you look here on the front, you've got an input, and what that input is for you to plug in your barrel connector so you can charge it. And there's a couple different ways you can charge this device. You can use the 180 watt charging brick that they offer. You plug this in into the wall, and then you plug this in into the portable power station, and it supplies at 180 watts of power to charge it up. Or if you want to, you can use their optional solar panel, and it's a 200 watt solar panel, and it plugs in the same way, plugs in that connector there. And if you've got a solar panel that you already have, you can probably use it. And they sell all different types of adapters on Amazon that you can use to plug it in there into that input. Now if you drop down below, this right here is a fast charging port. It's a 100 watt type C charging port. And then down below that is 2 USB ports. And to the fast charging ports, you know, if you've got a device that does the fast charging, like some of the newer cell phones and tablets and things like that, then you know, you can take advantage of that fast charging. But as far as like the regular USB, you can charge all your cell phones. And then I also have several devices run just off these 2 USB ports. You can see that I've got a splitter on Amazon, and so I've got 1 USB splits off into 2, and I can run this fan that runs off a USB, and I can run one of these lights off a USB. And then I've got a splitter on this other USB port, and I've got a light and another light run off just the 2 USB ports. And so you can run a lot of different stuff off here. Now I recommend anytime you have any kind of power station to take advantage of using the DC power, because DC power is more efficient. And so you can, you know, if anything that you plug into the USB ports, it's going to use a lot less watts than if you were plugging it into like the AC power side. But if you don't have any DC power products, you can use the AC power. And the way that you turn that on is you just hit this button. And keep in mind, these 3 AC ports are on a separate circuit than the DC power side. So if you don't want to turn the DC power side on and you just want to run AC or vice versa, you can turn one or the other off to save energy. But if you want to use both, you can. So let's say I'm going to plug in this AC powered fan. I can do that. Just plug it in the AC side, turn it on, and this thing is powering up. Tells you right there on the screen that it's using about 32, 33 watts. And it tells you down below that the battery that's inside the Alpha is at 86% of charge. And then over here on the left hand side, it's got a display that tells you if it's being charged or not. It tells you how many watts are coming into the unit, whether it be through the power brick that it's charging from the AC power in your house, or if you're running the solar charging, you know, it'll tell you how much power is coming in through your solar panels. So it's a very simple display, and it's not very big, so it don't use very much power. And you know, I gotta say, this thing's pretty powerful. The AC side of it, you know, you can run quite a few things on there. You can run several fans. You can run 3 fans off this, and you know, you're well below the limits of what this thing can do. With this fan right here on low, like I said, it's at 33 watts. I kick it up to medium, and let's see, that's it. It's going up a little bit. There's 41, and then I'm gonna kick it up to power level 3 on the fan. There it goes. You can see it jumped up a little bit. It's at 46 watts. So you could easily plug in 3 of these fans and run them on high, and you're only using 150 watts of power. So that's not much at all. And you know, let's say you're camping, it's hot outside, you don't feel like being hot and sticky, and sit out there and relax with a fan blowing on you. It just makes camping a lot easier. And you know, if you're tailgating or just being outside, or if you got a power outage, like I said, you know, it's just a handy tool to have around the house. So if you're wondering how much power you can plug into this machine, you can go up to 1,000 watts continuous or 2,000 watts peak. And what that means is, let's say you got a refrigerator or an air conditioner or something, and you plug it in, it's not going to use very many watts on a continuous run, but when you first plug it in and the compressor kicks on, let's say on a refrigerator or an air conditioner, then it might surge. It's going to surge up in those watts, and it might go over 1,000 watts for just a split second, but once it comes back down, then that's what continuous is. You know, whenever you got a surge, that's what a peak is, you know. So it can surge up to 2,000 watts, but it can continuously run on 1,000 watts. So you know, it's not going to run a big item like a heater, like a 1,500 watt heater, because that's 1,500 watts. But you could run a heater on low, which is usually around 500 watts. You know, you could run it for maybe less than 2 hours, because you know, a heater does draw, you know, quite a bit of watts. But like you know, if you're planning on using this to provide you with heat, I wouldn't suggest it. But you know, if you're using something like this to run a refrigerator just for a few hours, then that would be fine. You can use it to power all your cell phones, tablets, things like that. I have T-Mobile wireless internet at my house. I have powered my internet with this. You can actually power a TV and a DVD player. During the holidays, we had some bad weather here in Tennessee, and we had a busted water pipe, and it got cold here, and we were able to watch a movie and watch our TV because we had to turn the water or the electricity off because of the busted water pipe, and water was running down the walls and everything. But this was pretty handy to be able to watch TV. You can go online and find out what all items you can run on a portable power station that's 1,000 watts or less, and there's quite a bit of things out there. Now I will say that if you're looking for something to power up for cooking or heating or something like that, you know, I wouldn't use a portable power station. You know, if you're out camping or something, build a campfire, you know, save your power in this machine. But let's say you wanted to use like a inverter cooktop range or something like that, you could cook on it, but it's going to eat up a lot of your watts. So just be wise on how you use the power from this device. You don't want to burn up all your power in your portable power station, you know, cooking or trying to use a heater or something like that. Like I said, you can run all types of different smaller draw devices on here, from fans, computers, laptops, things like that, and you'll be fine. And it's pure sine wave inverter, so it's good clean power like you would find in your house. It's not going to harm your sensitive electronics and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I've tested it on my TV and DVD player and my T-Mobile home internet, and I plugged cell phones and computers and all kinds of stuff into this, and it works great. On to the cigarette lighter port, where you can plug in anything you want from. I mean, there's like fans and stuff you could use, and then there's a couple of DC ports right there. I guess they're for a barrel connection, and I'm not real sure what you would use those for. I know maybe like some CPAP machines or something sometimes use those DC ports, and so you should be able to use those for whatever device you've got that'll plug into there, as long as it's 12 volt. And so the way that you would turn this section on right here is you just mash that button and it turns it on, and now you have power to this section. Now if you want to turn it off, just mash the button again. If you want to turn all this off, you just hit that button and it turns the power off to the AC fan. And you know, I will say, whenever you turn this button on, you will hear an internal fan kick on, and you know, that's basically just keeping, you know, everything nice and cool, because you're running on AC power, and it's more of a load to run AC power than, you know, plugging in a USB device that runs off DC power. It uses more power. So that's why I say, if you can find devices that run off USB, like these lights, it's going to save you a lot of power. And that's why I'm using, you know, this DC powered fan. It just uses a USB-C type plug, and I just have it plugged into the fan there, and I have it turned on, and right now it's using 9 watts because it's charging the internal battery in this fan, because this is a rechargeable fan. But when I kick it on, I turned it on low right now, and you can see it's jumped up to, it went up to 10 watts for just a split second. Let's jump it up again. There's medium. Now it's using 11 watts. There's high. It's only using 12 watts. Plus it's charging the internal battery in this little DC fan. And I can unplug this once it's charged, and this thing will run for hours. And again, this thing's only using 11, 12 watts. It's fluctuating back and forth. It's not much power at all. Whereas, let's see, you turn this fan on, this one here, and it's AC power. I'm gonna put it on low, and you gotta turn it on, and you can see the fan starts up, and it'll take it a second, but it'll tell you how many watts that it's using. And right there on low it says 23 watts. So you're at about half as much power to run the smaller DC fan as you are running the AC fan. And I know this is a bigger fan, but you know, that DC is just more efficient. And you know, let's just test it out. Let's see if we can run all 3 of these lights and the fan, and unplug the AC fan, and see how much power it uses. So to show you what I'm talking about, I just took a splitter, and I've got a fan plugged into here. I have a light plugged into here, and on this other splitter I have a light there, and then a light on the inside of the tent. The fan's running. We'll kick it up to high. The fan's running on high. You can see it. This thing really puts out a lot of air, and it's only using 21 watts with all these light bulbs and this fan running on high, where this one here was at like 23, 22. And so, you know, to be able to run more devices and use the same amount of wattage it's pretty amazing. So that's why I say that's a tip for you. If you're looking to get the most power out of these, use your DC side more than your AC side, and it'll last longer. So this portable power station has 1,036 watt hours of power. So that is the amount of capacity that it has. And so, like I was saying before, find out how many watts your device is going to use. You can buy a watt meter at like Harbor Freight. They're like $25, or you can buy them on Amazon. I've seen some for like 15 bucks on there, and you can plug it in and then plug whatever your device you're wanting to run, and it'll tell you how many watts it's using before you get a power station, and it'll just basically tell you how long you'll be able to run this. And like I said, this is 1,036 watt hours, so it has a good amount of capacity. It's not a huge power station by no stretch, but it is a good medium size. You know, it's a good all-around size just to have, where you can power a lot of different stuff. I have used this thing outside. I needed a power outlet to run a jigsaw for just a few minutes, and this thing had no problems running my rigid jigsaw. In fact, before I started the review, this thing was covered in sawdust, and my girlfriend was wiping it off, and I was like, no, leave that on there. I want to show people that this thing is used, you know, and it's not no powder puff, you know, it actually gets used. I'm not one of these guys just grab it and unbox it and say, oh man, this thing works great. I actually have had this thing for probably 3 or 4 months now, and it does work really great, you know. Haven't had any problems out of it. Now, when I first got it, I couldn't figure out how to turn the wireless charging on, so I'm like emailing the company and asking them, hey, the wireless charging don't work. Well, it was my fault because I didn't read the directions, and the way that you turn that on is just double click that top button there, and I didn't double click it, and it was my fault. But they were quick to respond, so that is pretty nice to have a company that's quick to respond to your questions, you know, and don't just leave you high and dry. Now, I've seen several big retailers sell this. I did see it, I believe, on Amazon, and I also seen that Home Depot was carrying it, so that does make me feel a lot better that you know, a bigger company like those two would have this on their website. But anyways, the power station weighs about 25 pounds, so you know, it's not light as a feather, but it's reasonable where you could take it camping on a weekend or something like that with you, or if you're tailgating, or if you just want to keep it in the back of your car if you're going on a trip or something and you don't want to be without power, you know, just in an emergency or something like that. So the lithium ion battery that's inside this is rated for 1,000 life cycles, so you know, it should last you a pretty good while. I spoke briefly about charging this device, and that, I guess, to me is the only con that I didn't really care for. You know, that con for me might not be a con for you, and that's simply because if you're using this device as just a portable power, and you don't want to care if it's charged really fast, then this would be a good portable power station for you. If you want something that's, you want it to be able to charge in like an hour, 2 hours time, then you might find another power station. This power station here only has the capacity to charge at 180 watts. And that's what I was saying. When you charge it with this charging brick here, it only supplies it with 180 watts. And so it takes several hours for this thing to charge all the way to full. Or, like I was saying, you can use the solar panel. But this is a 200 watt solar panel, but it's not going to be able to harness all 200 watts. I mean, that solar panel's not that efficient. So even with solar, the maximum amount of power that you're going to be able to get out of a 200 watt solar panel is only 180 watts, because inside this portable power station is only a 180 watt charge controller. So it can't reach that 200 watts even if it wanted to, because it's limited by that 180 watt charge controller. So no matter what, whether you're charging AC or DC with solar power, you're only going to get 180 watts charge. And so that is the only downfall that I've seen. It does take quite a bit of time to charge it up. And you know, if you're out camping, you know, and you're not running anything during the day, you just got a solar panel hooked to it and you've got good light, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. Or if you're just using this as just a backup to run something, you know, in a power outage, and you don't really care how fast it charges, this would be a good power station for that. But you know, like I said, it doesn't charge very fast, and you know, like I said, it might be important to you, it might not be. But onto the solar panel, gotta say, first class. They did a great job on this solar panel. This thing's got a nice carrying handle. And this is optional, you don't have to get the solar panel, but I was very impressed with it. It comes in this nice package. It's got a Velcro pocket here. You can put all your cables and adapters and all that kind of stuff in there. And then when you open it up, It slides out like that. You know, it just helps keep it a little more padded so you don't damage your solar panel. But this is what I like. I like that it had a big thick pocket, and the zippers are really nice on it. Opens up nice and easy. And then this is a place where you can keep all your adapters. And it comes with this MC4 connector on both ends. It's pretty much just like an extension cord. And then here is another. This is an MC4 there on the bottom, and this is a barrel connector here on the top. And what you would do with this is you would take this barrel connector, plug it in right there at your input, and then you have this MC4 connector here, and you can plug it right into the solar panel. Right there is your connector if you wanted to plug it directly in, or if you need an extension, you can use this as an extension cord. And you can see right there, black to black, red to red, very easy. Just plug in just like that. And then you plug them in just like that. And then once you open it up, you can see that'll glow red once you open the solar panel up, and it'll let you know that it's charging. But let me get it set up first, and we'll pull all that out here in just a second. But I gotta say, this solar panel, it is got some heft to it. It is pretty hefty. It's got some weight to it. They've got it to where, you know, you got a piece of strapping here to hold the legs, because this thing does unfold. And it's got Velcro on it. And it folds out like that in 4 little sections. And what you do to set it up is just fold it up and kick the legs back. And then once you get it pointed in the direction of the sun, then you just plug it in. Now, a tip for you, in the summertime, you probably won't want to prop it up. You probably want to just kind of lay it just at a slight angle, almost flat, because in the summertime the sun is high up in the sky, and so you'll be able to get more wattage out of your solar panels if it's laying more flat. Now in the winter time, you'll want to have them propped up like this, facing the sun, and it should provide you with more power. But you can see right here, once you get it all set up and you have that little leg to prop it on, you just take your little cable, stick it out the side there. I'm gonna plug that input back in, and then you're gonna see I'm gonna connect them up right here. And I'm sorry, it's not going to put out much power. It's like 6 o'clock in that evening, and so it's a very cloudy day, and it's fixing to be nighttime here in just a few minutes. But right now it's only putting out 4 to 5 watts, and that's nothing. I've seen this thing put out a lot more power in that, but again, it's only limited to 180 watts of charging power. When it's earlier in the day, you can get 150, 60 watts out of this thing easy, but it's hard to get a constant 180 watts out of this thing, just simply because, you know, the sun is moving, there's clouds, you know, if there's trees and restrictions like that, so it's hard to keep putting out 180 watts to this thing. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And again, you don't have to use their solar panels. If you already have some solar panels, you can buy the adapters to hook it up to this power station. Here on the side, you've got their logo, and it's basically a vent, a cooling vent. Then here on the back, this thing's pretty cool. You mash it one time and a light comes on. Hit it again, it turns on brighter. Hit it again, it's on high. Hit it again, it turns off. And then when you double tap, it does like an SOS. So, and then you hit it again, and then it turns off. So, you know, if you want to use this as a light for camping or working on a vehicle or something, it'd be definitely handy for that. And just to show you, right up underneath the handle, you can see this thing's been covered in sawdust, and that's probably not the most optimal condition to cake this thing in sawdust, but hey, I needed to run a jigsaw and didn't have power, so, you know, I'm gonna put the thing to work. And again, This thing has some rubber feet on the bottom of it. Keeps it from sliding off a table or something like that. So before I forget, I just want to tell you there's another way that you can use to charge it. You can also charge it with this cigarette lighter plug, and you can plug it in your car and you can charge it that way. But there's another way also. You can plug in this 180 watt power adapter, and you can also plug in at the same time a USB-C plug right in here, and you can charge it with this and the USB-C port at the same time simultaneously, and you can charge it in about 4.5 hours. That would be the fastest way to charge it. But according to their website, it says right here, it says the AP1000 can be charged in 4 ways, including AC wall charge, solar panel, car charger, and USB-C. It can be fully recharged in about 4.5 hours with AC plus the Type-C. And you know, there it is, straight from the website. All right, now I know some of you guys are going to ask, so how long can I charge this, and how long will this run? And I know there's going to be a plethora of questions, and like I said, you can use a watt meter and test it for yourself, see how many watts the device you're wanting to run uses. But I wanted to go over just a few things just to simplify it. Right here off their website, it says that you can run a 60 watt TV for 13 hours. So that's pretty good. And a CPAP machine, let's say you have an 80 watt CPAP machine, it says that you can run it anywhere from 20 to 40 hours. I know that's a huge jump there, but I guess I'm not real familiar with CPAP machines, don't have one, so can't really speak on that. But right here it says 60 watt car fridge, 20 to 40 hours. And on a fridge, you know, not all the time when you have a little car fridge plugged in is the compressor going to be running. When the compressor kicks off, it doesn't use much power at all. When it kicks on, that's when this device uses more power. A projector, 100 watt projector, you could run it for 8 hours. A light, a 5 watt light, you could run this thing for 80 hours, which is ridiculous. 550 watt coffee maker, you could run it for 100 minutes. So, you know, if you're camping, you don't want to start a fire, make you some coffee, you could run a coffee machine as long as it's, you know, under that 1,000 watts, get you a coffee maker. But, you know, check out their website, and it gives you a lot of different scenarios and different products you can use this device for. So anyways, appreciate you sticking around. I know this is kind of a long, drawn out product review, but you know, when you got something like this, there's a lot to cover, and I know there's people out there that might not be as up on, you know, watt hours and all this kind of stuff as I try to be, and you know, the average person ain't gonna know a lot of this stuff, so I try to break it down and be a little bit more long-winded so people can understand it, and I hope it helps somebody out. And so anyways, appreciate you watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up if it helped you, and you know, if you're looking for a good portable power station, check out the ALPHAESS AP1000. I don't think you'll be disappointed with it. And till next time, guys, you have a good one.